The Namibian Constitution, narrated by Applewhite. Chapter 3, Fundamental Human Rights and Freedoms. Part 2. Article 12, Fair Trial. 1a. In the determination of their civil rights and obligations or any criminal charges against them, all persons shall be entitled to a fair and public hearing by an independent, impartial, and competent court or tribunal established by law, provided that such court or tribunal may exclude the press and or the public from all or any part of the trial for reasons of morals, the public order, or national security, as is necessary in a democratic society. B. A trial referred to in subarticle A hereof shall take place within a reasonable time, failing which the accused shall be released. C. Judgments in criminal cases shall be given in public, except where the interests of juvenile persons or morals otherwise require. D. All persons charged with an offense shall be presumed innocent until proven guilty according to law, after having had the opportunity to call witnesses and cross-examining those called against them. E. All persons shall be afforded adequate time and facilities for the preparation and presentation of their defense before the commencement of and during their trial, and shall be entitled to be defended by a legal practitioner of their choice. F. No persons shall be compelled to give testimony against themselves or their spouses, who shall include partners in a marriage by customary law, and no court shall admit in evidence against such persons testimony which has been obtained from such persons in violation of Article 8(2)(b) hereof. 2. No persons shall be liable to be tried, convicted, or punished again for any criminal offense for which they have already been convicted or acquitted according to law, provided that nothing in this subarticle shall be construed as changing the provisions of the common law defenses of, quote, previous acquittal, close quote, and, quote, previous conviction, close quote. 3. No persons shall be tried or convicted for any criminal offense or on account of any act or omission which did not constitute a criminal offense at the time when it was committed, nor shall a penalty be imposed exceeding that which was applicable at the time when the offense was committed. Article 13. Privacy. 1. No persons shall be subject to interference with the privacy of their homes, correspondence, or communications, save as in accordance with law and as is necessary in a democratic society in their interests of national security, public safety, or the economic well-being of the country, for the protection of health or morals, for the prevention of disorder or crime, or for the protection of the rights or freedoms of others. 2. Searches of the person or the homes of individuals shall only be justified, a. where these are authorized by a competent judicial officer, b. in cases where delay in obtaining such judicial authority carries with it the danger of prejudicing the objects of the search or the public interest, and such procedures are as prescribed by the Act of Parliament to preclude abuse are properly satisfied. Article 14. Family. 1. Men and women of full age, without any limitation due to race, color, ethnic origin, nationality, religion, creed, or social or economic status, shall have the right to marry and to found a family. They shall be entitled to equal rights as to marriage, during marriage, and at its dissolution. 2. Marriage shall be entered into only with the free and full consent of the intending spouses. 3. The family is the natural and fundamental group unit of society and is entitled to protection by society and the state. Article 15. Children's rights. 1. Children shall have the right from birth to a name, the right to acquire a nationality, and subject to legislation enacted in the best interests of children, as far as possible, the right to know and be cared for by their parents. 2. Children are entitled to be protected from economic exploitation and shall not be employed in or required to perform work that is likely to be hazardous or to interfere with their education or to be harmful to their health or physical, mental, spiritual, moral, or social development. For the purposes of this subarticle, children shall be persons under the age of 16 years. 3. No children under the age of 14 years shall be employed to work in any factory or mine, save under conditions and circumstances regulated by Act of Parliament. Nothing in this subarticle shall be construed as derogating in any way from subarticle 2 hereof. 4. Any arrangement or scheme employed on any farm or other undertaking, the object or effect of which is to compel the minor children of an employee to work for or in the interest of the employer of such employee, shall, for the purposes of Article 9 hereof, be deemed to constitute an arrangement or scheme to compel the performance of forced labor. 5. No law authorizing preventive detention shall permit children under the age of 16 years to be detained. Article 16. Property. 1. All persons shall have the right in any part of Namibia to acquire, own, and dispose of all forms of immovable and movable property individually or in association with others, and to bequeath their property to the heirs or legatees, provided that Parliament may by legislation prohibit or regulate as it deems expedient the right to acquire property by persons who are not Namibian citizens. 2. The state or a competent body or organ authorized by law may expropriate property in the public interest subject to the payment of just compensation in accordance with requirements and procedures to be determined by Act of Parliament. Article 17. Political activity. 1. All citizens shall have the right to participate in peaceful political activity intended to influence the composition and policies of the government. All citizens shall have the right to form and join political parties and, subject to such qualifications prescribed by law as are necessary in a democratic society, to participate in the conduct of public affairs, whether directly or through freely chosen representatives. 2. Every citizen who has reached the age of 18 years shall have the right to vote, and who has reached the age of 21 years to be elected to public office, unless otherwise provided herein. 3. The rights guaranteed by subarticle 2 hereof may only be abrogated, suspended, or impinged upon by Parliament in respect of specified categories of persons on such grounds of infirmity or on such grounds of public interest or morality as are necessary in a democratic society. Article 18. Administrative Justice. Administrative bodies and administrative officials shall act fairly and reasonably and comply with the requirements imposed upon such bodies and officials by common law and any relevant legislation, and persons aggrieved by the exercise of such acts and decisions shall have the right to seek redress before a competent court or tribunal.